Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 of English 101 Online. I am really looking forward to going over your memoir drafts this week, and while I do that and work to give you guys some quick feedback, I wanted to talk about some tools for revising your essays and moving forward with this week. So let's go ahead and get started. The focus of class this week is to work on revising and editing your drafts. So this is really a key part of the writing process and one that many students skip. Part of the reason I have you all turn in a draft is because the best writing, in my opinion, happens between draft and final. So this is where you're going to be making some big changes, but also just improving upon what you have already. So I wanted to draw your attention to a few of the readings we had this past week, the first of which is A Week Among the Rest. So while you're thinking about this memoir example in relation to your own writing, I wanted to kind of ask you guys, what are some thoughts that you had or any part of this reading that stuck out to you? What I hope you notice is that Kirk's memoir focuses on a very specific part of his recovery experience, and that's kind of what you want to do with your memoir as well. So if you are talking about, say, like the example I had in the video last week, if I wanted to talk about the car accident that I had, obviously the accident itself and the aftermath and the recovery and everything around it could take up a book. What I want to do is then pick a specific part of this experience and really focus in on that. So in Kirk's example, he really focused in on that weekend recap. The other reading that you had is called Reading to Write. So I want you to think about what was the most helpful advice from Mandel's Reading to Write. For me, I think that going over how to sort of visually analyze a reading before you do it, and also I've heard a lot of students mention that he says to ask yourself, why am I reading? And that can really help to guide what you're looking at. So I know for a lot of us, you're assigned readings that sometimes you don't really think about why you're being asked to do it, and that can really harm your motivation. So a lot of times you're, given something that you're like, I'm not interested in this. I don't know what this is about. I don't really care. So the point is to make yourself care. Find something, a purpose in it that can kind of guide your reading. So a few ideas from that article that I want you to keep in mind throughout our course when you're reading and also writing. Know your purpose. Why are you reading? Why are you writing? Preview the text or an assignment. So if I give you an assignment sheet, what you want to do is literally look at the headings, look at the pictures, look at the captions, then look at the first line in each paragraph and then the last line in each paragraph. What is the main idea of this text before you really get to reading it line by line? When you do get into the nuts and bolts of the reading, highlight it, underline it, take notes while you read. This is the best advice I've gotten from anyone in my academic career. I had a high school teacher named Mr. Fowler, who was the wrestling coach in my high school. And he was this short, angry Irish man who was always yelling. And for, an 8 o'clock U.S. history course, I was just like, oh, why are you so mad? But he always used to say, if you're not writing, you're not reading. And what he meant was, if you're not taking notes, if you're not really internalizing with a pencil or a pen while you read, you're not really internalizing. Okay? So my best advice when you have something to read, get a notebook out and write. The idea behind annotating is that you're having a conversation with the author. And you're also going to do this in our second essay when we do peer reviews. Annotating is just a way to talk to the writer as a reader. Asking questions, making comments, making connections is what annotating is all about. So ask yourself, what's this author trying to say? Who are they speaking to? And I don't mean they're speaking to you. I mean, who's their ideal audience? Is there anything missing? Do you have questions? Where does your experience fit in? Those are the kind of things you want to think about while you're reading, and if you write those, particularly in the margins of a reading or a book, that can definitely help solidify what you're looking at. So in addition to your Essay 1 final draft due this week, you also have your first blog post. And these are kind of cool. I really enjoy reading blogs from my courses, so I hope that you all enjoy writing them. The blog for this week is 500 words. It's due Friday. What you're going to do is choose a topic from the blog post topic list and follow the steps in the assignment sheet to write it. I'm also going to pull up an example blog that I did just to give you some ideas. All right, guys, so on our Blackboard course, you'll notice that there is a blog post link. To get to where you need to post your blog, you'll click blog post 1, and then when you are ready to write yours, click create blog entry. Before you do, you want to look below. I've created a blog post example here that kind of walks you through kind of thinking visually about your blog and also utilizing the editing tool in Blackboard. I know some of you may be more used to Microsoft Word or Google Docs, and using the software in Blackboard can be a little clunky. So this sort of goes through how to use the text editor, adding pictures, what you might talk about in your introduction, the body, the conclusion. Essentially, how are you going to write your blog? What I want you to think about while you're doing this is think about the people in our class. What are they interested in? How can you take the topic that you've chosen and make it not only relevant to you as a writer, but to us as readers? All right? The blog posts are really a space for you to play. All right? They are not graded as thoroughly as your essays are, and I really view these as a way to just sort of write about something that you find interesting in a way that can be engaging to other people. Okay, so pick something you're interested in and make it interesting to us. That way, you have a very effective blog. So while you are working on your blogs, and here are just some screenshots of where you're going to post your blog. If you go under that week 3 folder, you'll see a blog post assignment, and then the blog post 1, and then you'll click create blog entry. The other thing I want you to think about is in revising your memoirs this week. So I am going to go through and give you all some pretty, I think, detailed feedback. But while you wait for my feedback, you can get started in thinking about how are you going to change your writing. So ideas to think about, and we're going to kind of go through this step by step. First of all, is your thesis clear? Do you have a main point about this experience? Do you tell me how it's changed you? Do each of your body paragraphs support that main point? Do you have a clear beginning, middle, and end to your essay? And then is there enough detail to really describe this experience that you've chosen? So let's go into these in a little bit more detail. Step 1 being, check your thesis. Is it specific? Is it focused? Are you saying something more than just, I had this experience in high school? Are you telling me how this experience changed you? Is your thesis somewhere toward the end of your first or second paragraph? Is it clear throughout your writing? What I want you to do, pause this video, pause it, pause, and then go to your essay, check your thesis. Come back, unpause, and we'll go to step 2. All right, now you're back for step 2. Once you've adjusted your thesis, then you want to skim your body paragraphs and ask yourself, am I supporting that thesis? Are these going back to my main point? If one of your paragraphs doesn't, what I want you to do is go in your draft, highlight that paragraph, and remember to come back to it, delete it, move it, or add to it. Step 3. Do you have an introduction, a bunch of body paragraphs, hopefully a lot to get to 3 pages, and then a conclusion? Do you give background before you jump into your thesis? Remember that your reader doesn't have the same background that you do, so maybe they need some information about this experience. When was it? Where was it? Who was involved? Are these questions that you've answered? And then, do you have a clear conclusion? Do you have an end to this experience? The reading that you have for this week should help you in thinking about these ideas, but as this is our first essay, I want you just to think about, okay, do I kind of give background to the experience? Do I then discuss the experience? And am I clearly saying in my conclusion, this is how this experience overall has changed me? So pause again. Go check. All right, step 4 of revising, details. So this is when you go through from top to bottom and ask yourself, do I have enough information? Am I answering who, what, when, where, and why throughout my experience? Have I given lots of examples? Do I have 3 pages? And if I don't, where could I add? So I want you to pause again. Mark places where you might add more. Or if you're one of those people who kind of talks too much, is there anything you want to delete? That's what revising is all about. All right, last step. Only now that you've looked at your thesis, your body paragraphs, your beginning, middle, and end, the examples, only now do you get out that teacher's red pen. Now, after you've moved things, deleted things, added, worked with your writing, now that it looks very different from how it did the first time, take a day away from it. Walk away, do something else for a whole day. And then come back, sit down, and edit. This is where you go sentence by sentence and ask yourself, do I have periods where they need to be? Do I have commas where they should go? Is there a period at the end of each complete thought? Am I using commas before conjunctions like and, but, so, and or? Am I capitalizing proper nouns in the first word in every sentence? Do I have quotations around any dialogue? And then finally, is my essay in MLA format? Don't forget, there's an example MLA format template on our Blackboard course. So this is the last step before you're ready to turn in your final draft. What I'm going to do is take the next couple days, hopefully by Tuesday, I'll have feedback on your drafts back to you guys. And then I'd like you to use the rest of the week to work on your blog post and then work on revising and editing this first essay. I'm really excited to kind of see your ideas and where you're going. And please, please, please reach out if you have any questions or need help, concerns of any kind. I am available pretty much all the time. All right, good luck, and I will talk to you soon.